Hey, algebra. Welcome. Take a look at this do now. See if for each of these two graphs, they're different. For each of the two graphs, see if you can find the slope and the y-intercept. And then you can hit pause on the video while you figure those answers out, and we'll pick it up once you hit play. All right, well, the graph over here on the right-hand side is not anything we can do with, because we know the slope is positive, but we don't have any points we can identify to find the slope. Can't count the rise and run. And the edge here, that's not actually the y-intercept, because that's not the y-axis. We're over here at 200 spaces over on the graph, and you could maybe guess that that's at a height of 75, but that's not the y-intercept. It's just some point way over there. So we can't do anything with that graph. This other graph, we can find the slope. We got some points we can identify. We can count a rise of 2, a run of 6, gives us our slope of 2, 6. We could reduce that down to 1/3. And the y-intercept, we can see that the y-intercept is 4. We know that's the y-intercept because we can see that the x-coordinate is 0. All right. Well, so the reason why we had this as the do now today is to kind of illustrate the difference with when we have different pieces of information. We can do different things with them. With this last graph we just looked at, if we can identify the slope and the y-intercept, we could even write the equation for that. Right? We got the slope and the y-intercept, bam, bam, y equals 2/6 x plus 4, or with the reduced version, y equals 1/3 x plus 4. We can't do anything with this first graph, though, because we don't know enough information. So today we're looking at equations of lines. How can we write an equation of a line? Right, and so we've learned 3 different kinds of equations. You got slope, intercept, point, slope, the standard form. So we'll get to those others, but for today, just focusing on slope, intercept. So slope-intercept form, as you remember, y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept. So we're going to look at how to write an equation from this. Sometimes the problems are really easy, and it just says, look, the slope is this number. The y-intercept is that number. You put the numbers into the equation, and you're done. Those are pretty straightforward. Sometimes, like our first example here, we're going to do a little bit more work. So find the equation of a line that has a slope of 2. So it tells us the slope. That's great. And passing through the point 10, 26. Write your equation in the form y equals mx plus b. Okay, well, if this piece of information right here was the y-intercept, then this would be a pretty easy problem. Right? Is 10, 26 the y-intercept? No. How do we know it's not the y-intercept? Well, in order for this to be the y-intercept, it's going to have to start with a 0. It's going to have whatever number it's got. But if it's 10, 26, then that means on the graph we've gone over 10 spaces, and then we've gone up 26. That's not on the y-axis anymore. We're 10 spaces over from it. So we don't actually know the y-intercept. Sometimes we'll be told the y-intercept, and that's great, but not this time. So what we can do is we can take the information we have been given, we can put it where it goes into y equals mx plus b, and then we'll be able to find the missing information. Here's how. 10 is our y, is not a y-intercept, but it is a an x. It is an x coordinate. The 26 is a y coordinate, not an intercept, and we do have the slope. So that's m. So I'm going to take the 10 and put it into the place of x. I'm going to take the 26, put it into the place of y, and the 2 and put it into the place of m. Get caught up with my highlighting. 26 is going to go in the place of y. 2 is going to go into the place of m. Oops, lost my pen. Okay, so 26 equals, the slope is 2, multiplied by 10. And then I don't know the y-intercept yet, so I'm going to leave that as b. So I've just created a little algebra equation with only one variable. So it's like solving an equation for x. It's not actually an x, but it's that process. Right? So I'm going to solve this equation to find b. Once I've done that, I'll know the y-intercept, and then I can write the equation of the line. So first, I'm going to multiply these together. 2 multiplied by 10, that's 20. So 26 equals 20 plus b. And then my goal here is to get the b by itself on one side of the equal sign. So I'm going to subtract the 20 so I can get that b all by itself. 26 minus 20 gives me 6. So 6 is b. Okay, so now I can write an equation. So I know the y-intercept, I just found that at 6. I know the slope that was given to me in the original problem, that's 2. So now I take those two pieces of information and put them right here. Okay, so y equals 2x plus 6. The 2 is the slope that was given to me in the original problem. The 6 is the y-intercept that I found by doing this little algebra problem and solving for b. And that's it. Hey, we can take a look at another equation, same directions, different numbers, find the equation of the line that's got a slope of 4. All right, well, there's my slope. I'm going to put that into the slope spot. I'm going to put that in, I'll highlight it, the final version over here on the right-hand side. Save that for later. And other things I need are the 7 is going to be my x coordinate, the 31 is going to be my y coordinate. 7 is going to go in here for x. 31 is going to go in here for y. I don't know b. I'll have to set up an equation to solve for b. Okay, so 31 instead of y. The slope, it told me, is 4. X, I'm going to use that 7. And plus b. I don't know what b is, so I have to find out what b is. So to solve for b, multiply the 4 and the 7 together first. That's 28. So 31 equals 28 plus b. To get the b all by itself, subtract 28 on both sides. 3 equals b. So that 3 is my y-intercept. I'm going to put that into my final version of the equation of this line. Y equals, the slope is 4x plus my y-intercept is 3. All right, let's take it at a last one here using a fraction for the slope. Find the equation of a line that's got a slope of 1 over 8 passing through the point 32, negative 6. Write your equation in the form y equals mx plus b. Okay, well, 32 is going to be my x. Negative 6 is going to be my y. That 1/8 is my slope. Process here is the same. The only difference is I have a fraction this time. So we're going to go negative 6 equals 1/8 multiplied by 32 and then plus b. So first step, multiply the 1/8 times the 32. If we don't remember how to multiply fractions, God, it's been a while. 32, you could write it as a fraction. You could make it 32 over 1 if that helps. And then we just multiply straight across, top times top, bottom times bottom. Sometimes people would rather just say, hey, look, you take the 32, multiply it onto the top. That's the same thing, a little bit easier to say. So 32 multiplied by 1 is 32. And then some people do all this in one step mentally. 32 divided by 8. In this case, it does divide evenly, so I can just divide it. If not, I could leave it as a fraction. But 32 divided by 8 is going to be 4. So negative 6 equals 4 plus b. To get the b all by itself, I need to subtract the 4 on both sides. Negative 6 minus 4 gives me an even more negative number, so I get negative 10 equals b. And that is going to be my y-intercept. So now I'm ready to write the equation. Y equals, my slope was 1/8. So 1/8 x plus, and then I just had negative 10. Okay, probably I'm not going to want to leave my answer like this. I mean, if you're writing it on paper, that's fine. You go plus negative 10, and that's okay. If you're trying to type this into WAMAP, that's going to confuse WAMAP. So we're going to clean this up. Adding a negative number is the same thing as just subtracting. So I'm going to change the plus negative 10 into just minus. Y equals 1/8 x minus 10. There we go. All done.